It's Tuesday, December 13th. You're watching The Big Story with me, Haryanto Diman. Subscribe to the Straits Times channel so you will not miss an episode. Hundreds of family members, friends and Singapore Civil Defence Force officers turned up in the rain at Mandai Crematorium to bid farewell to the firefighter who died battling a blaze at Henderson Road. Full-time NSF Sergeant 1 Edward Goh was accorded a ceremonial funeral and was earlier posthumously promoted from the rank of corporal. The hearse carrying the flag-draped casket arrived at Mandai Crematorium in the early afternoon from his wake held at Sin Ming Drive. It was transferred to a red Rhino vehicle adorned with black drapes before making its way to the service hall. Members of the Singapore Police Force Band led the hearse to the service hall with more than 100 SCDF officers lining up along the road. The 19-year-old collapsed while fighting a fire at Block 91 Henderson Road last Thursday and later died in hospital. He was the first firefighter to die in an SCDF operation. Earlier today, during an SCDF observance ceremony, a fire call alarm symbolizing the last call of the fallen firefighter rang across all 23 fire stations, headquarters, as well as 5 division HQs and the Civil Defence Academy.
Station 11, turn out PL 112 Echo. This is the last call for Sergeant Edward H. Goh. We thank you for your dedication, loyalty, and exemplary service to the SCDF and to Singapore. Your sacrifice will always be remembered. Rest in peace, Sergeant Edward H. Goh. You will be dearly missed.
The fire call alarm is used to activate fire station crew in response to an emergency. The late Sergeant Goh was with the Central Fire Station. At SCDF's Ubi HQ, about 300 officers gathered at the parade square where they observed a minute of silence as a mark of respect before SCDF Commissioner Eric Yap paid tribute to the NSF. The SCDF chief offered condolences to his family, loved ones and friends, adding that his death has also hit those in the SCDF hard. Following his speech, the blinkers and sirens of 2 light fire attack vehicles at the site were turned on for 15 seconds. Meanwhile, a probe into the firefighting operation linked to Sergeant Goh's death is ongoing and the findings will be made public in time. In other news, the prices of resale condominium units climbed for the 28th straight month in November. Based on flash figures from 99.co and SRX, prices rose 1.1% last month compared with a 0.3% gain in October. Analysts say prices held up because of the lack of new launch condos and low stock. But the number of units sold fell from the previous month, in part due to the year-end lull and latest property cooling measures. Sam Bankman-Fried, the founder and former CEO of failed cryptocurrency exchange FTX, has been arrested in the Bahamas and is scheduled to appear in a court later today. He was detained after US prosecutors filed criminal charges against him. The authorities in both countries had been probing his involvement in the company's collapse in November. According to a person with knowledge of the matter, the criminal charges against Bankman-Fried include wire fraud conspiracy, securities fraud conspiracy, and money laundering. And then there were 4. As the dust settles on a weekend of entertaining football action, the attention now turns to the semi-finals of the 2022 FIFA World Cup. With a good mix of front-runners and dark horses in the Final 4, the remaining teams will now be vying for a spot in the finals on Sunday. Lionel Messi will be looking to keep his hopes of lifting the trophy, with Argentina kicking off the semi-finals as they go up against 2018 finalists Croatia. Meanwhile, Dark Horses Morocco will be in action against France as they look to make more history by becoming the first African team to reach the World Cup finals. France are also 2 wins from becoming only the 3rd team to win successive World Cups. Joining us from Doha is ST Sports correspondent Sazali Abdul Aziz. Saz, the first semi-final match kicks off later tonight in what could possibly be Lionel Messi's last shot at international glory. How do you see this playing out? Could Croatia upset the odds against Argentina?
Well, to put it plainly, yes, I think absolutely they can upset the odds. And in fact, I think psychologically, Croatia might even have an edge over Argentina going into this game, given how they've already beaten another South American giant in Brazil, who were the world's #1 ranked team heading into the tournament. But I do see, Argentina sort of edging this one overall. They have quite a balanced side from back to front. And Messi, I mean, wow, in that semi-final against Netherlands, he was, absolutely brilliant. It has really been a pleasure to see him in action in the flesh here at the World Cup. He really seems to be enjoying himself in what is so-called his, last dance. And if he's in the mood again tonight, I'm not sure how even this incredibly resilient Croatia team can stop him.
The second semi-final is a David versus Goliath scenario. Morocco will have to get past defending champions France to become the first African team to reach the finals. How likely is that to happen, or are the French en route to their second successive final?
Well, Morocco beating the defending champions in the semi-final of the World Cup would probably go down as the biggest upset in the history of the tournament. I think even more so than, Saudi Arabia beating Argentina just a couple of weeks ago in their group game. Because, to me, simply of what's at stake. Morocco, no doubt, will have the majority of the stadium behind them again, as they have had for most of the tournament here. But I think, and that will be a leveler of some kind. But I think, in Kylian Mbappe, France have a one-of-a-kind talent, the likes of which Morocco have not encountered yet at this World Cup. And, France, they are champions because they know how to get the job done. So, again, not impossible for Morocco, but the cards, are heavily stacked against them.
Definitely very exciting 2 semi-final matches. Saz, before you go, I am going to have to put you on the spot here. Who are your picks for the finals?
The way I see it, it boils down simply to individual quality of the teams in the 2 finals. And Argentina and France each have very, very special players in Messi and Mbappe. So for me, it's going to be an Argentina-France final.
Saz, thank you so much for the perspectives. ST Sports correspondent Sazali Abdul Aziz. And before we go, the annual charity concert Child Aid, organised by the Straits Times and the Business Times, returns tonight with a cast of about 80 talented children who will take you on a musical journey around the world. This year's edition, titled All Together Now, promises music from BTS, One Republic, Nicky Ure, ABBA, Mozart, Paul and Pasek, Whitney Houston, Elton John and many more. Now you can catch all the action on ST's YouTube channel from 7:30 p.m. onwards. And that's where you'll also find more ST videos. Don't forget to subscribe by hitting the red subscribe button. I'm Haryanto Diman. Join us tomorrow for more stories on The Big Story.